Kennesaw State guys, and then they emerged to be Power 4 players. Quite intriguing there, Jay.
Very.
Another thing that's intriguing, the Oklahoma Sooners might have punched their ticket to the big dance with a big win over Mizzou. Let's discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Oklahoma Sooners got a big win over number 15 Missouri on Wednesday night, 96-84. And this was a game that Oklahoma led by as many as 14 in the first half, 13 by halftime, and got another big game out of Jeremiah Fears, who scored a career-high 31 points. Sam Godwin was a big part of the start for Oklahoma, scoring 8 of their first 10, and he had 10 points in the first half before leaving with an injury that had him sidelined the rest of the game.
Yeah, they balled out. And you know what's fascinating too? So they started the game off in the first 12 minutes, 75% from the floor. Like where has this been? Outside of non-con. And I guess this game and, one other SEC game that we saw them go out there and just dominate a team that they probably shouldn't have beat. Like, where has this been? Like, this is the Mississippi State game all over again. It's like, wow, I just really came out here and ball. Could have done it against Kentucky, just couldn't, close it out. But they showed up and showed out. I mean, Missouri blew them out there in Missouri the first time we played. And then we came in here and we cooked them. Now, at this point, like you said, this may have punched them into the tournament. And I saw one where they were still the last team in. And this win may have pushed them to the point where they're at the top of the last teams in, regardless of what happens in Texas on Saturday. They may actually be in the tournament now.
I think this did enough. They were a bubble team, but I felt like if they got one more win, especially a ranked win, it would be enough to get them in. They've got 4 quad 1 wins, and I think that's going to be enough. And especially if they can go beat Texas on Saturday in Austin, that'll definitely seal the deal for them, because they're playing good ball over the last few weeks. It's just been some heartbreaking losses in the final minute that have kind of sunk them against Ole Miss, against Kentucky. It was kind of a rough week last week, but they bounced back in a big way with this win, especially losing Sam Godwin after just 11 minutes of game action. And then Muhammad Wegi, what a great game for him. There was a point in time at about the 7-minute mark of the second half where Mizzou's kind of starting to make a run. They're making a push to get this thing closer. They get within 9, and Wegi scores 6 straight points for the Sooners. He provided that spark off the bench.
And that's what they needed. And you could tell that no matter how much we criticize, or just flat out hate on Porter Mosier, there's one thing you can't say, that his teams don't play hard.
No, they're playing hard.
I'm trying to figure out how he ain't lost a team yet. I'm being for real, John. How has he not lost the team with the way they lose these games in so many heartbreaking fashions? It's just oh my goodness, it's just painful. You would think that these boys would quit, but they don't. They keep playing hard, and they end up with wins like this against Missouri, and then a win like that against Mississippi State. So I give them that. I just don't understand how we just can't do that more consistently. Yeah. Why can't I see the wins come out of it? Where you close it out properly. Playing hard is great, but you got to still do the right things to win the games. And Porter Mosier got them working hard. Now he's got to figure out, even though now it's year 4, how to get it to where you can close it. Call the right plays, call the right sets, whatever it is. We need to get to that point, but it's still a very impressive win. And like we said, this could have already punched them into there, because they got enough quad 1 wins in comparison to others that are on the bubble with them. I think they have the most in comparison. And the SEC has 1 loss outside of quad 2. So they've put themselves in a situation where there's really no reason for them to not get in now, at least at a 12 seed.
Yeah, they moved up to number 50 in the net rating after the win. But a big reason for it was 9 turnovers. Like, this is a team that has been one of the more turnover happy teams in the SEC, and they only had 9. Jeremiah Fears had just 1, and that was the biggest key. Like, as Mizzou really was pressing down the stretch over the final 6-7 minutes of the game, like, they were making life really, really difficult for Oklahoma to get the ball into the front court, and yet Oklahoma wasn't turning the ball over. I think they had maybe 1 turnover in that final 5-6 minutes or so. One of them was Jeremiah Fears, where he he tried to throw a pass to a cutting Jalen Moore, and it didn't quite get there. Got intercepted in the lane, but it wasn't like a sloppy ball handling situation, and it wasn't even a bad pass. It was just an aggressive pass. Yeah. And then there was another one where maybe Bryson Goodine stepped out, but the shot clock was really, really, really late in the shot clock anyway, and I think it was going to be a violation, so it would have been a turnover. But they weren't loose with the basketball. They were protecting it well. They were making good decisions, and they were beating the press. And that was really, really impressive because at times when defenses get aggressive against Oklahoma, especially in the front court, you see the struggles for them to get a good shot off. Well, they were able to beat the press and get some easy buckets in transition, and that really, really helped them late in the game.
It did. It helped them to be able to close it out. All that matters is that they were able to trade buckets in the second half, late in the game, and prevent Missouri from really making a run. And I know I was listening to people kind of complaining, trying to figure out why they weren't trying to run the clock out. And it's like, I think they were trying to run the clock out while at the same time understanding that in some situations you go ahead and get those shots up. The shot clock does run down after a while.
Yeah, when you're Bryson Goodine and you're left alone in the corner by yourself,
you take it.
You just have to shoot it. You can't tell the shooter not to shoot. Like, what's he going to do? Stand there and hold the basketball? Yes. Would you like him to run clock? Absolutely. But if they're going to leave you 100% wide open, I'm sorry. Please shoot the ball. And he missed it the first time, but he made it the second time. So redeemed himself a little bit.
And that was the most important, is he made the second one, and he kept the lead up there to where, I think they got no closer than 8. It was probably about the closest they got down the stretch. So, they got the W in a good way, in a big way, a double-digit win against a ranked team, number 15 in the country as well. So now we wait and see if they actually make it into the tourney.
Yeah, go put Texas out of their misery on Saturday, get another win. You listen, here's why I feel confident that Oklahoma is going to be in the tournament. Why does the tournament exist?
Cinderella's.
Money. To sell ad spots. How do you sell ad spots if you're the NCAA tournament? With stars.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Fears is one of those.
Oklahoma they've got a star in Jeremiah Fears. Oklahoma's going to be in the NCAA tournament.
Just because of that. Yeah, everybody wants to see Fears. And like you said, he's a lottery pick.
Yep.
As of now, he's slated within the top 10 picks. Actually top 10, 15. So because of that, he's one player they need to showcase. He needs to have one of those lottery player runs in the tournament where he's just knocking off top teams that shouldn't be knocking off. I mean, he dropped 31 in this game to help his team get to the tourney. And if he keeps showing that confidence and keep growing his game and doing that and getting – if they can win 1, maybe 2 tournament games, unfortunately, y'all, Porter probably ain't going nowhere if they win 2.
No.
They win 1, he might not go nowhere either.
Listen, I don't care. Just go win. I just want to see my team win. If they win a few and Porter's back, okay, he proved that he can get a team to the tournament and he can win a couple games in the tournament. That's what we've been asking for, right?
Yeah, it's true.
As much as I was ready to pack his bags for him and send him out the door because of the way that the month of February went, he's turned it around in the month of March, or I guess the last few weeks. He's turned it around and he has this team. To me, I think they're a tournament team. If not for this most recent win, but for the fact that they've got a marketable star that's going to get people to tune in to watch this young, should still be in high school phenom.
I know.
The storylines write themselves, Jay.
They do. They really do. They're just writing up everything for us, which is amazing. But, hey. Let's see if we can get our lottery pick up there.
Yeah, we'll have everything covered for you here on Locked On Sooners, so make sure you tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. wherever you get your podcast. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. You can also go check out his channel on YouTube, Unfair Sports. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com, and you can follow me at John9Williams. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer.
Sooner. Just win, baby.
Just win.